Emmanuel Shachaf, hello to you.
Hello.
Identity, the quest for Israel's better future. When you're seeing what is happening in Israel right now, and you're seeing all the demonstrations, what is the better future of Israel according to your estimation for the coming weeks or months?
Well, I think the attempt by the government to pass the laws which would basically cause the Supreme Court to be irrelevant will not pass.
They
will not pass. I think the demonstrations were big enough and for long enough, and are still possible to be revived when necessary, but I made it clear to the government that they can't get that legislation through if they want or not. Doesn't make a difference. This won't go.
Yet they're continuing to have these conversations under the Israeli President's house. Do you think it has any chance to create something sustainable?
I think they're looking for ways to implement legislation which is really needed, because the legal system needs change and needs improvement, and there are quite a lot of things which can be done. And I think that in the end they will focus on these things which can be and must be done and are agreeable to both sides. But they will not include the cancellation of the powers of the Supreme Court.
It would not include.
It will not include, and also will not include the hijacking of the committee to appoint the judges. So that won't be part of the...
Would you say that this estimations of yours is 100% or 50-50?
No, it's not. It's. I think I would say it's 90%. Okay.
90%.
Yeah, just 90%. I'd be very surprised if the government gets through with any of these objectionable legislation attempts.
And what made this assumption, understanding that all the demonstrations were so powerful that Benjamin Netanyahu didn't have the power to go all the way through?
Yeah, well, first of all, the legislations were very powerful, but not only that, the elites, most of the country's elites, if not all of them, were opposed, and the government cannot rule without the elites. Definitely cannot pass such strong legislation without the elites, and the elites are not with it.
And the sounds that are coming from the United States, from Biden's administrations, from Jewish communications, means of communications and communities, do you think that it's something that rings a bell that this is final, it won't happen?
Yeah, I think that's indicative also. The fact that there's no support for this from anywhere, not from outside the country, not from inside the country. There's limited support, not enough to make it go through. And of course the economic aspect, which is vital in this context. I think it has become clear to the government that if it continues on this path, it will ruin Israel's economy. No sane government will continue on this path.
You know, it's interesting because Arab Israelis are not coming to those demonstrations.
Yes. Well, one of the big problems of the whole setup, the way it's playing out now, is the complete denial of the existence of the Arab population.
Denial.
It's literally denial. Other than asking here and there, why aren't the Arabs part of the demonstrations, which is in itself is curious, because everybody, who cares about the Arabs? All of a sudden we care about them. Okay, that's but the fact that the Arab population right now is in a terrible period of violence, internal violence, which is mostly because it's being ignored by Israel, by the Israeli body politic, and also by the Israeli population.
When you're saying ignored in violence, please draw the line in between these two dots. How do you see that reflects into that? Is it frustration?
I think, it's in a way it's like a child who's being ignored and he's acting up. Okay, now this is acting up in a very violent way, and I think eventually this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a part of the population which is systematically being ignored, has been ignored for a long time, at least has not been given the attention it needs. Okay, it's not been totally ignored, but now also as part of the demonstrations and as part against it's been almost completely ignored.
What might happen if this kind of ignoring will continue by this?
Well, the violence will increase, and there's a danger that we will return to this situation we had in May last year, where we had in the mixed cities we had literally almost civil war between Jews and Arabs.
So the violence might get off the internal Arab population,
it might turn towards the Jews, although that's going to be limited. But it's bad enough if it's inside only the Arab population, because the numbers are scary.
Who has the willing to make this kind of putting down these subjects? It's not in the means of communication, it's not in the government, it's less in the budget. So basically, who is putting it out of this circle of communication?
The fact that it's almost in a consensus, okay, that the denial is in consensus, okay. The denial is in consensus. It's a subject which doesn't bring rating in the media, okay, or except maybe for here and there some criminal cases, but not as a general subject. The fact that politically it's objectionable to the present government, which really doesn't care about the Arab population, and definitely not in context of the peace process with Palestinians. So there's just no reason why to deal with it, and that's why it's going to blow up.
You know, you're leading the Federation ideas for many years in Israel, also overseas, and right now they're rising up new programs of federating and creating kind of separations in between the populations here in Israel, the different variety of cultures and faith. What is the difference between the programs that you are leading towards the newcomers?
Well, the newcomers mainly thinking about federations, how to split up the populations into how to separate them into different cantons. Everybody has his own canton, can live on his own in his own cultural environment. The federation that we propose is a federation of basically of coming together, okay, that all the cantons are mixed cantons, okay. The fact that there's a majority is technical, but they're all mixed cantons, and the idea is to live together and to find common ground, not to separate.
Well, you know, some people say you might be a bit naive, because people here maybe they don't want to live together. They want this kind of separation. Possible?
First of all, I'm certain it's possible. It takes an effort, but I think the effort to live together is a lot easier and a lot more positive than the effort to split up. It's also a lot more beneficial, because when we are together, we have a lot more to contribute both to each other and to the world. And when we separate, we're just going to shrink. That's all that's going to happen.
So, you think that the alternative that you're offering and living for so many years is here and now, even in these kinds of demonstrations and separations, can create oneness, the one Israel together?
It's here and now, especially it's here and now, because I think it's literally the only alternative. None of the things that have been proposed or that are being talked about are real serious alternatives to resolving the conflict. Okay, and we embrace the conflict in the sense that we use the federation to resolve it, and that'll be the only way we can make it happen.
Another good news. One good news for the finalizing of this report.
The Arab version of my book is being published in Amazon, so that's a good thing.
So it's up, it's in the air, it's available.
It's available in 3 languages, also in Arabic.
And what do you feel about that? The fact that all 3 versions, all 3 languages, it's a huge journey. It's out there. They're all talking about unification. All their 3 covers, 3 interior parts, all available for the world.
Well, that's my goal, to enable everybody to see it and to read it and hopefully to support us.
people that want to be part of the supportive part of the community of the federation.
Contact us through Facebook, by either to Emmanuel Shachaf or to Identity: The Quest for Israel's Future or the Federation Movement.
Emmanuel Shachaf, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you.